I guess that is a positive because they're looking for another resource, but it's the same thing. You got to dig deeper and have them make sure that is of value because they think that is, what is written and saying is automatically official. So that's just another thing to make sure that they know that this is still just an initial resource. That doesn't mean everything that is said or, regurgitated back to them is valid or factual.
You're listening to the smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Ochs. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday shine online. Now, let's get back to the interview.
Hello, my name is Dylan Purlee, principal at Needham Elementary School in Franklin, Indiana. That puts me about 30 minutes south of Indianapolis, a town that you might be more familiar with. Our elementary is kindergarten through fourth grade, actually preschool through fourth grade, serving about 360 students. Our district, Franklin Community Schools, has 8 schools, 5 elementaries, intermediate, middle, and high school level. And we serve just around 5,000 students.
Okay, my name is Deron Wilson. I'm the Executive Director of School Engagement for Poughkeepsie City School District, which is in Poughkeepsie, New York, Mid-Hudson Valley region. We're about an hour and a half away from New York City. We have approximately 4,400 students in our district, 1 middle school, 1 high school, and 5 elementary schools, with one of them being a pre-K and K early learning center.
On this episode, we're talking about an app that is all the rage. It's not TikTok. It's not Snapchat. It's not Instagram. Yes, those are popular and that's where students want to go. Today, we're talking about a brand new app called ChatGPT, the new AI technologies. Parents and educators, if you're not looking at this, it is an app that grew in just about 7 days. It got a million opt-ins, a million users. It took Instagram like a year or something like that. It took all these other apps a long time, and ChatGPT got it in 7 days. A lot of educators are afraid of it. Some are embracing it, and you're normal no matter what side you're on. I want to talk to our 2 educators here today and ask them just a couple questions. Principal, how are you approaching ChatGPT in your school?
At this point, we are just using it from the teacher, administration, and PR level. We are using it to create form letters, or at least generate the concepts and the ideas. This is just maybe week 3 or 4 for us, even in using ChatGPT, but that's what it's doing for us. We're throwing in maybe an old idea that we've had, a welcome letter for new families from our PTO. And then what does it give us? And it's creating some new ideas and topics for us to put in our mind to go, okay, we're going to add that in to our form letter that we're going to use this year.
Excellent. Mr. Wilson, how is your school district approaching GPT?
Very carefully. The same thing right now, the adults are still trying to get a grasp on how to actually use it. So a lot of people are looking into it, playing around with it. The students have been embracing it, of course, and then we have some teachers that are tech savvy. So they're utilizing it to have students use it to problem solve in classroom and come up with different scenarios. But I do see that probably in the near future, we're going to have to take a real serious look on how we can utilize it for the benefit of all.
So I want to ask both of you, are there any positive use cases you've heard of students around that? Before I ask you, I want to tell you that in the previous episode where you 2 were in, almost all of the questions were created by ChatGPT. So I said, what are the top 20 questions I could ask incredible educators when we're approaching social media safety from a positive twist? And it gave me 20 ideas. We got them down to the top 9 we liked, and we refined them and so on. But I want to ask both of you, Principal, what positive use cases do you either see? I mean, you're using it already to create form letters for parents, but are there any ways that students have either approached it or you've heard from the high school? What can you tell us of how is it being used as a positive tool?
Again, in the classroom, a kid could use that and get some information. Then they need to vet it. Is it accurate information? Or are there some things in there that are false? So we've had some teachers using it that way. And then also being able to cite beyond just what that report is giving you. Dig in, take that idea, and now you've got to take it one step deeper. So it's just challenging kids to think one step further. That's the surface level that we've been able to approach at the high school.
That's a great one. Mr. Wilson, are there any positive use cases, some tactical tips that, hey, this one student used it this way, or ways you're using in the classroom that we could learn from?
Well, it's kind of the same thing. I don't know if it's positive yet or not. Students are using it to answer their homework questions. So, I mean, I guess that is a positive because they're looking for another resource, but it's the same thing. You got to dig deeper and have them make sure that is of value because they think that is, what is written and saying is automatically official. So that's just another thing to make sure that they know that this is still just an initial resource. That doesn't mean everything that is said or regurgitated back to them is valid or factual. But a lot of students are using it now to do their homework and things like that. So that is a positive that they found another resource. I'll date myself back to when we had Spark Notes, or to write papers and stuff. So this is like a digital way of them to actually get things faster.
That's great. So my next question, and side note, we have heard of a lot of students having problems in their physics class or homework. And we've all heard about how the Khan Academy flipped to the classroom and started teaching at home. So then the students come to class and they ask questions of the expert, which is the teacher. And that has been incredible with student learning. We're hearing from a lot of students nowadays where ChatGPT becomes the world's most patient and most knowledgeable tutor, whether it's physics class. You still need to think critically about its answer to make sure that it's not wrong and so on. Principal, are you changing any of your techniques for grading any student essays and the types of assignments being used in the classroom because of ChatGPT?
We are not yet, but I do like the fact that you said that, like that critical thinking. And it takes me back to, and I can't remember what Google was piloting at some point, but I heard someone speak on it, and the teacher's question was, well, the kids are going to already know the answers. And the feedback was, you need to ask different questions. And I think that's where we're going, is we're already there with teaching conceptual understanding of math and teaching different ways and strategies of writing. But that conceptual understanding of our content is key, and that critical thinking. We're moving beyond those depth of knowledge level questions that are just one or two, and we're taking it to a applicable, practical, critical understanding. And that critical thinking, it may be replaced by by human brains one day. It may be AI. But for right now, that critical thinking and that critical discussion can still take place in the classroom.
Yeah, I love what you just said. That was a great thing. Mr. Wilson, so back over to that question, where you represent a district of almost 5,000 students or so, if memory serves me correct. How is your district slowly having a dialogue about, and I don't mean in a slow, bad way, but like there's this new tool. Remember when Google came out? It was probably 20 years ago. This new tool, you can find anything. And that was good then, but now here we are, it gives you any answer in a way. How are you changing? And if so, how your techniques for grading students and asking them different questions now that GPT is a thing?
Currently, we're not changing right now, but that is going to be what we do in the summer is a lot of summer retreat with the building level and district level admin. And that is going to be one of the topics of conversation to look at how we will look to see if we're going to incorporate, because of course, changing that means changing teachers' philosophy and pedagogical practices too. So trying to find the best strategies for them to embrace it, even though just like with Google and all those things, it took them a while to get on board to try to change. Even with Google Classroom, it took teachers a while to even get on board with that. So it's just a slow process of trying to make sure the best way to come about it.
Yeah, I totally get it. Educators and parents, if you're wondering what is this GPT thing, it's kind of like TikTok 2 years ago when they're like, I don't know, maybe this is a fad. It's here to stay. The AI is based in the US, which means it's even has a stronger foothold on us here. And we do see this as one of my expert friends says, I used to just have a Phillips screwdriver and I would write scripts and do all kinds of things. And I was really good with that Phillips screwdriver. But now with ChatGPT, I now have a power drill. I can still hurt something, or I can do a terrible job with the remodel or fixing something. But he said, now as a writer, now I can do things faster and easier. Another analogy that people are saying is, I used to just have a bicycle and people were afraid of e-bikes. Oh no, we're all going to gain weight and become lazy. No, in e-bikes, you still have to pedal. You just get there a little quicker. And e-bikes haven't changed the world. It just made it a little faster, a little more efficient. You have another option. So not to say that students are going to learn more or faster, but we do see it as just a tool that makes it faster so they can start to brainstorm. I do strongly believe, and we at Smart Social believe, it is an interesting tutor. So if you have questions on how do I do that? In fact, a little side story, gentlemen. I had to make a big cake. I was in a graduating class of a really neat leadership organization, and I was the head of the leadership. And I went into Costco to order a huge cake for 50 people. And I wanted to get the apostrophe right. And it was like a weird thing called Citizens Academy. And I wanted to get it right. And I asked GPT, do I need to put an apostrophe here at the end of the word citizens? And it said, no, it is not possessive. And it gave me the no, you can write it this way. And here's why. And I was in the store and I went, this is amazing. And it's that kind of tool. Did I turn that into my teacher and now I cheated? No, it made me smarter because I read the why. I had to critically think about, okay, this is cool. And I had it in the palm of my hand. So parents, educators, if you're wondering, what are we going to do with this? Have those dialogues. This summer is a great summer to do that. We encourage you, embrace this early, work with your students. We think it's a great tool. Both of you, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. Those of you listening and watching, you can learn more by clicking the links below. Thanks for listening and watching to the smartsocial.com podcast. We'll see you all soon. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to our smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Ochs. This was our District Talk segment where we interview school district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday launch into their future by shining online. This episode was brought to you by our smartsocial.com VIP program. It's called the Very Informed Parent Program, which helps you engage your students with teen-led video lessons. Stay one step ahead with our premium parent newsletter and discover hidden features on trending apps on teens' phones and our 54 plus live parent and student-friendly events every single year. You can click on the link below to chat with one of our team members if you want a free pass to our VIP program to support your community with our smartsocial.com resources. And if you're a district leader who has a success story, we would love to feature you on a future episode. You can click the links below to reach out. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have a great day.